what happens when person dies. Ahmadu Nusalli ala Rasulihil Kareem Amma Ba'd. When believing slave is about to depart this world and enter the hereafter, comes down to him angel from the heaven with white face, and their faces are like shining sun. They bring with them one of the shrouds of Jannah and some of the perfume of Jannah. They sit with him as far as the eye can see. Then the angel of death comes to him with a delegation and sits by his head and say, "O pure soul, come out for the forgiveness and pleasure of Allah." Then his soul comes flowing out like a drop of water, flowing from a cup. Then he takes the soul, and no sooner does he seize it, but they take it and place it in the shroud and perfume. Then out of it comes the most excellent fragrance of musk to be found on the face of the earth. Then they ascend it, and they do not pass by any group of angels, but the angels ask, "Who is this pure soul?" And they reply, "It is so and so, so the son of the so and so," using the best names by which he was known on the earth. Then they bring it to the lowest heaven, ask for it to be open, and it is open for them. So those who are in higher rank in each heaven accompany it until they approach the next level. So it goes on until reach the seventh heaven. Then Allah, glorified and exalted, says, "Record the book of my slave in Illiyun, the highest heaven, and take him back to the earth, for I created them from it, and I shall return him to it. Then I shall take them out from it again. Then his soul is returned to his body, and two angels come and make him sit up." Then the hadith mentions the questioning in the grave. Then it mentions how the soul of the disbeliever is taken. This about the person who was a believer. He was taken to the levels and he was perfumed and he was given the good news. But what about the person who is other way around? Disbelievers. They ascend with it and they do not pass by any group of angels. But the angels ask, "Who is this evil soul?" And they reply, "So and so," using the worst names they know. And they bring to the lowest heaven and ask to be opened, and it is not open. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam recited interpretation of Suratul Araf, ayah number 40. From For them, the gates of heaven will not be opened, and they will not enter Jannah until the camel goes through the eye of the needle. Is it possible? It's not, right? Then he said, then Allah may be glorified and exalted, says, "Record the book of my slave in Sijin, the lowest hell, in the lowest earth." Then his soul is cast down. Then he recite interpretation of the meaning, and whoever assign partners to Allah means doing shirk. It is as if he had fallen from the sky and the birds had snatched him, or the winds had thrown him. This is mentioned in Suratul Hajj, Surah number 22, ayah number 31. He said, then his soul is returned to his body. The two angels come and make him sit up. Then it mentions the questioning in the grave. This is classified by Sahih Albani. So what Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullah alayhi says, the hadith indicates that the soul will remain after it departs the body, contrary to the misguiding teaching of some philosophical things. That is not the thing. The deceased will be questioned and he will be subjected to either to the bliss or to the punishment. That's the only two things, either Jannah or Jahannam. So angels come to the dying person, and if the person was righteous, they say, "Come out a good soul, was in a good body. Come out praiseworthy and receive the glad tidings, mercy and fragrance, and who is not angry." And this is repeated until it comes out, taken up to the heaven. It's open for it, and they say, "So and so, it's welcome and good end for them." But the person who is wretched, it's the other way around, and they come with the bad news, and the black angels with a lot of filthy smell, and they end up with a bad news. So the two hadith describes what happens to the soul after the death, after the burial. If the person was a believer, then the angels give him glad tidings before taking his soul. of the forgiveness and good pleasure of Allah. Then they perfume it, then they take it in a blessed state to the Lord. uh, Allah may be glorified, record the book of my slave in Illiyun, and return to the body in which it was. Then individual is questioned in the grave. Allah makes him steadfast at the time of questioning and make his grave spacious for him as far as his eyes can see. But if it is the soul of a disbeliever, then the angels give him the tidings of hellfire, divine wrath, and they take his soul up cursed, humiliated, and afraid, and the gates of heavens are not open for it. And there that then it is thrown down to the earth, then it is returned to its body. Then the individual is tormented in grave, and it is compressed on him, and there comes to him the heat and the smoke of hell. So, with the regard to the period between the departure of the soul and the burial, the questioning in the grave, for the believer, it is the first stage of the eternal happiness, as he is given the glad tidings of Jannah, an eternal place, and his book is recorded in Ilion, the highest heaven. Then his soul will rejoice and be happy. But for the disbelievers, it is the first stage of eternal torment, and Allah is angry with him and does not give him permission for the gates of heaven, of the gates of mercy to be opened, and they will go to the Sijin, and that is they are in the wretched. This is also mentioned in Surah Al-Mutaffifin, and in that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly mentioned, I'll show you the ayahs of Surah Al-Mutaffifin. Allah says, Kalla inna kitab al-fujar lafi sijjin. They will be in Sijjin. Why? Because Mama adraka ma Sijjin. What can make you in Sijjin? Because kitabun marqum, recorded in the register, inscribed. Wailul yawma izil lil mukazzibin. The day to the deniers, because they denied. And what was the reason? Allazina yukazzibina yawma yawmiddin. Because they not only deny, and they disbelieve in it. Because of the disbelieving, they are in the in the Sijji. And wama yukazibu bihi illa kullu mu'tadin asim, and none deny it except very sinful and transgression. And when the ayahs were recited, they says these are the fable tales, and no, rather the stain has covered their hearts. Rana ala kulubihim ma kanu yaksibun. Kalla innahum an rabbihim yawmazin lamahjubun. From their Lord they will be partitioned. And summa innahum lasalul jahim. Indeed they will enter and burn in the hellfire. And then it will be said to them that what you used to deny. Kalla innal kitabul abra lafi illiyin. And the people who are in illiyin. So, wama adraka ma illiyun. What can make you know the Illiyun? Kitabul Marqum, destination recorded and registered inscribed. Yashhaduna Muqarrabun, which is witnessed by those brought near to Allah. Innal abrara lafi na'im. Indeed, the righteous will be in the pleasure. Alal araika yanzurun. They will be on the couches, and you will recognize by their face. Tarifu fi wujuhihim nadratun na'im. يسقون من رحيق مختوم. They will be given to drink pure, which was sealed, and the last of it musk. So for the let the competitors compete. Mizajuhu min tasneem, mixture of tasneem. Aina yashrabu biha muqarrabun, from which they need to drink. This was the end of the people who are righteous in Iliyin, and the people who are wretched and disbelievers, they are in Sijjin. We should always make dua, Allahumma inni as'aluka jannatul firdaus, a'udhu billahi minan nar. May Allah protect us all from the hellfire. Jazakallah khairan kaseera. Do subscribe the channel. Channel name is Ilm Quran for All Bayan.